Life happens the way it's meant to happen, not the way you want it to happen, not the way you think it should happen, but exactly the way it's meant to happen. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me. Today is a Sunday, so I figured let me just, throw some inspiration your way. And today's motivation is inspired by a book that I'm currently reading, 15 Things to Give Up to Be Happy by Luminita D. Saviuc. Ooh, girl, I'm probably butchering it. I'm sorry. I'm going to be focusing on chapter 11 of the book, and chapter 11 is titled Give Up Control. We as human beings have this intrinsic desire to control everything that happens in our lives. We want to control how life unfolds, particularly the aspects of our lives that we actually really have no control over. You know what I mean? We want to manipulate the outcomes of everything to suit our needs and our desires. And that's what actually causes us frustration, because unfortunately, life unfolds the way it's supposed to unfold, irrespective of how much kicking and screaming you do, irrespective of how much controlling you do. Life still happens the way it's supposed to happen. I just want to read a line from the book. It reads as follows: life is meant to be lived, not controlled. People are meant to be loved, not controlled. Feelings are meant to be felt, not controlled. So what we're meant to be doing is going with the natural flow of life instead of trying to control every outcome of every single aspect of our lives. This need for us to control is actually the greatest source of our frustration, because you'll try to manipulate outcomes of things and things don't go the way you want them to go, because at the end of the day, life happens the way it's meant to happen, not the way you want it to happen, not the way you think it should happen, but exactly the way it's meant to happen. And because you are constantly trying to manipulate the outcomes of every single aspect of your life, you end up being frustrated, you end up being depressed, because things are not going your way, because your way is not the way that God intended for things to go in your life. So in this book, she does outline 3 steps that you can follow in order for you to let go of that desire to control everything and allow life to happen as it should happen. And the first step is understand that whatever you need, life will supply. Now you'll notice that she doesn't refer to God, she refers to life. So I choose to just insert God wherever she says life, because I believe in God being the provider of things. So if you believe in the universe providing for you, then you can insert universe. If you believe in life being your provider, you can insert life. But in my case, I choose to insert God. So she says, allow life to supply all your needs, not according to your expectations, but according to life's unlimited resources and riches. Trust that just as everything you needed those first 9 months of life was offered to you naturally and effortlessly, everything you need for the rest of your journey here on this planet will also be provided to you in the same beautiful, natural, and effortless way. The moment you release your worries, you give up your need to control and put your trust in life. So the first step is to trust that everything you need will be provided for you naturally without you having to manipulate things. The Bible does say that ask and you shall receive, and the Bible also says that God will supply all your needs according to his riches. The second step is to trust your inner wisdom. We all have that inner voice that we so often ignore. She refers to this inner voice as the inner GPS that leads us in the direction that we're meant to be going in life. Ask any woman, they're going to tell you that inner voice never lies. So we need to start tuning in and listening to that inner voice and to actually trust it. The third and final step, and my absolute fave, is to do your work and then step away. So many times we pray to God for things, and then instead of giving God an opportunity to work in our lives, will try to assist them. You know what I mean? You will pray for something, but you still want to manipulate the outcome. You still want to be hands-on in making sure that it happens the way you want it to happen. You know, think of yourself as a farmer. You know, when a farmer plants a seed, they plant the seed, they water it, and then they leave the rest up to nature. You know what I mean? They don't still go back and go, oh, let me just dig it up and see if maybe I need to pull it this way or that way to make sure that it looks more like a beetroot than a cucumber or whatever. You know what I mean? They plant the seed, they water it, and they leave the rest to nature. And that's how we ought to be as well. You know, you've prayed for something, step aside, let God do the rest. Don't now try to still be in control. You know, you need to get to a point where you actually give up that control to God and say, Lord, I surrender, you take over. And then you need to step aside. You know, this reminds me of a passage from a book called War Room, where Miss Clara says, you need to ask God to do what only He can do. And then you need to step aside and allow Him to do it. You know what I mean? Many a times we fail to do that last step of actually stepping aside and letting God do things. We want to ask God to do things for us because we recognize that we cannot do these things on our own, but we still want to try and be in control of how things must happen and when they must happen. That brings us to the end of this Sunday motivation. I hope that you did pick up something, no matter how small, that you can use in your daily lives. And thank you for joining me. Don't forget to like this video, comment down below, and if you liked it, give it a huge thumbs up. I will see you on my next one.